Okay, so now that we've gotten into a lot of this stuff, one thing that I really want to point out also at this time is that your back is not fragile, right? So, although we're spending a lot of time talking about these things that stress your back and ways to improve the things that you do so that these stresses don't happen, make no mistake that your body is incredibly resilient when just given the chance to heal. So, these things that we're doing, they aren't just quick ways to avoid things that hurt, right? Like it's not a temporary thing so that you just don't expose yourself to a thing that hurts. That's simple to do, right? Avoiding things that hurt. But we're learning ways to just leave things alone in there so that actual healing can take place. And the more time you spend living in a state of harmony without disrupting things in your low back and disrupting the healing, the quicker it's going to heal. And then your body will actually develop the tolerance to those irritating things without having pain because now it's healthy, if that makes sense. So remember that scab on the back of your hand. If you just don't touch it, it's going to recover and heal pretty quickly. If you keep picking it all day, every day, like it could stay there for years, right? There's no limit. As long as something keeps getting picked, it can just stay in an unhealed place. So the same is true for the discs and the other structures in your low backs. And in fact, load is actually healthy for these discs. Now, I don't like to get into this too much at the beginning because I don't want you to disregard all the things that we're doing. But truth be told, a little bit of load in a controlled, safe, good technique way is actually healthy for the discs. If you didn't load anything at all, it would create problems. But enough loading happens throughout the day, throughout our exercises. We usually don't have to worry about adding more load to the discs until we start really getting into good exercises that do so. Load in the right circumstances can create nutrients flowing in, waste clearing out, it brings in hydration, there's a pumping that happens that makes all these mechanisms, take place. The problem is when they just don't have a chance to recover, which is what happens in 99.9% of all of us with our daily lives. So we focus on taking load off the discs rather than adding it to the discs. Think of lifting weights, okay? So if you were to do curls one day and then you don't do them for the week, your biceps recover very well and then they actually come back stronger, larger, and basically better at doing their job in every way. That's what happens when tissues are given the chance to heal and adapt after being stressed. And it's natural and easy to let your biceps heal because it's kind of easy just to not use your biceps all day, every day. We just don't do it, right? Unless you have a job that requires you to lift something like this all day, every day, your biceps just kind of gonna be hanging out except for the occasional quick lift. The problem is, or the challenge is with the back, so many of our normal daily positions put it in a loaded position. So this would be like holding a dumbbell like this or curling for 10 hours a day. You know what I mean? Like that's what you do to your back when you sit at your desk. If you were doing this for 10 hours a day with a dumbbell, that would be the equivalent. And that muscle at that point would actually break down and probably tear pretty quickly if you did that on a regular basis. That being said, it's actually amazing how resilient the back really is by the fact that despite you putting all this stress on it all the time, you're still in a place right now that is highly recoverable. It just still wants that chance to heal. So by doing all the right things and removing daily stressors, all we're doing is simply just allowing it a chance to heal, right? We're taking the load off so that in between exercise or in between your strenuous activities, all that time that it's spent in between those motions or in between those things, it's actually just having a chance to heal like the scab on your hand. You're just giving it a chance to rest because it's really good at healing and it's trying to all the time. It wants to heal. You're just giving it that break, just like you would after lifting biceps. You just let it heal. Ultimately, that's what makes things get better.